Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, we are in the kitchen today. We are going to do a cooking video for you together, both of us in the kitchen. Normally, when we do videos like this, it's either Sarah's making something or I'm making something. But this recipe is something that we almost always make together.
Now, in a recent video, Kevin and I talked a lot about the beginning of our keto journey. We've been on a keto lifestyle now for about 11 months, almost a year. And in that video, so many of you said, will you please start making more videos of keto-friendly meals and recipes. And so today we're actually going to bring you one that we eat quite often.
Right. In that video as well, we actually showed you guys our blood work results that we just got back from the doctor. So if you guys haven't seen that video, go and watch that video. We go in depth showing what has happened to us in the last 11 months since we started eating a keto diet. I think you will be pretty shocked, not only at how good our blood results were, but really we talk about how much weight we've lost and everything else. So go back and watch that video. I'm not going to spoil it all here. Let's just say it was all good news.
And also in that video, it really is worth reading the comments because so many people put their testimonials in there about how their health was completely turned upside down in a really positive way for switching the way they eat to a keto lifestyle. So those are all worth a read as well.
Right. Yeah. Neither one of us had any major health issues prior to starting keto. But you guys, there are people in the comments that have been on keto for, many years now that have completely reversed some things that the doctors told them were irreversible, like type 2 diabetes. So go ahead and read the comments. I agree. Those comments are golden. All right, well, let's hop into today's video, today's recipe. What we are going to make today is what we like to refer to as Kizza. It's a keto pizza. It is something that we make pretty often. I'd say every couple weeks at least.
Sometimes weekly, depending.
Right. Yeah. And it really does satisfy that craving that you have for pizza. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this.
Now, we have tried many different kinds of keto pizza recipes.
Right.
And we continue to come back to this one. It's ultimately our favorite. And so we really hope that you guys enjoy this and that you'll try it at home.
What we like about this one is that it's just simple.
Yes.
It's pretty fast to put together. It doesn't take any more time than making a traditional homemade pizza, maybe even a little bit less.
And very normal ingredients. So you guys, let's just get started and make a keto pizza.
So we're going to start by making our pizza crust. Our pizza crust is really just 3 ingredients. It's going to be mozzarella cheese. I've got 3 cups of mozzarella here. Parmesan cheese, a 1/4 cup of Parmesan, and then 4 eggs. We're excited because, as you know from our last video, our dairy cow just had her calf, which means she's back in milk, which means soon we're going to be able to start making this with homemade mozzarella. But today, unfortunately, we are using store-bought mozzarella. It's still going to be great, but I'm really excited to start making this with homemade mozzarella. At least we've got home-raised eggs, so that's good. All right, so we are going to start, again, 3 cups of mozzarella. A 1/4 cup of Parmesan. We're just going to mix that together. And then we're going to put all 4 of our eggs in that mixture. Now I do have my oven already preheating to 425. We want to be able to put this into a hot oven. So we're just going to mix the egg and the cheese together. If you want to add a little salt and pepper in here, you can. For me personally, I feel like the Parmesan makes this salty enough, so I don't add any extra. Plus, usually, if we're having toppings, that adds a little extra salt as well. So Today, we're not going to add any more salt, but definitely make it to the way that you like it. You could even add some oregano or anything you want right to this if you want to. So we've got our egg and cheese all mixed together. You guys, that is it for the crust. That is what I absolutely love about this recipe, is the entire crust is just egg and cheese. I'm going to grab my pizza pan. We like to use a cast iron pizza pan, but you can use any kind of pizza pan except for one of those with the holes in it. Don't use one of those. That would be kind of a nightmare with this recipe. So make sure that you have a solid pan. We really like the cast iron. As many of you know, we cook almost exclusively on cast iron anyway, but for pizza, we really like cast iron because it makes the crust, especially with this recipe, more crispy and actually able to be picked up and eaten like a regular pizza. Otherwise, if you do it on a pan where it doesn't kind of draw some of the moisture out, it does turn out a little more floppy kind of, and you might have to eat it with a fork instead of picking it up. But with a cast iron, most of the time we can just pick this up and eat it like a regular piece of pizza. So all we're going to do, our oven is almost preheated, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're just going to put our egg and cheese mixture onto our pizza pan. Now all we're going to do is we're going to just spread this out fairly evenly. It will, as the cheese melts, it will spread out the rest of the way on its own. One thing I guess I should mention is make sure you have a pizza pan that has a lip on it like this so that everything can't just run off. All right, so we're just going to leave it like that, and then the rest will kind of take care of itself as it bakes. As soon as our oven is finished preheating, which it's only 5 degrees away, we're going to just put this in the oven, and we're going to bake this for about 10 to 12 minutes.
Now, while the crust is cooking in the oven, we are going to get started preparing some of the toppings that will go on top of the pizza. It's going to be very simple for us today. I'm going to brown up some of our grass-fed beef from our cows that we got back from the butcher. We're just going to crumble it and brown it like normal, and we'll be able to add that to our pizza. It'll be wonderful. Now, to add some flavor and some seasoning to this meat here, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Italian sausage mix. Sometimes you can work it into the meat, but I have found that just sprinkling it on top of the meat as it's cooking and then mixing it in as it cooks still makes a wonderful flavor, and then it saves you a dish that you don't have to get dirty.
Now while Sarah continues to cook the ground beef, I'm going to chop up an onion because we love to have onion on our pizzas. So I'm just going to dice up an onion. And I think that's probably all the toppings we're going to put on today. But put on whatever toppings you like, just like your standard pizza. If you are making this because you're on keto, of course, just make sure those toppings, fall into the keto diet. All right, our crust has just a couple more minutes left, and then we'll take a peek at it and see if it's ready to come out and us to start putting the toppings on. I'll show you guys what it looks like, even if it's not ready, so that you have some idea of kind of what we're looking for. All right, so 10 minutes is up. Let's take a look at our pizza crust and see how it's looking. All right, so you can see, it definitely spread out all the way on the pan, but what we're looking for, this is not ready, by the way, what we're looking for is it to be a little bit golden brown on top. So we're going to keep it in until that happens. I would say probably another 2 or 3 minutes would be enough. All right, it's been about another 4 minutes, so about 14 minutes total. Let's take a look at it. And that is perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and take this out. Now we're going to keep our oven on because we still need to bake our pizza. You guys, this is exactly what we're looking for as far as the crust goes. Just a little bit starting to brown on top. And now we can start adding all of our toppings.
So the first topping that we're going to put on this pizza is pizza sauce. Now over the summer, I made homemade pizza sauce from our cherry tomatoes because we had just so many of them. If you are interested in learning how to make cherry tomato sauce, pizza sauce, the video is called Pizza Sauce from Cherry Tomatoes. I actually stored the pizza sauce in the freezer to preserve it and save them in like little increments here that are perfect for one pizza. So we're just going to pour that on to the pizza. We're going to use all of it. And we're just going to spread that out in a thin layer around the entire pizza.
When we make a pizza like this, we really don't leave a crust on the edges. We try to put the toppings pretty close to the edges. You can do whatever you want, but because there really isn't a bread crust, but you do it however you want. That's just how we do it. Now I'm going to sprinkle on the other toppings. We're going to put on quite a bit of this ground meat. And this is why we didn't add much extra salt when we made the crust, because with the seasoning that Sarah put in the ground beef, it really adds quite a bit of extra salt along with the Parmesan cheese in the crust. So that's probably good as far as meat goes. Sarah will put on the onions.
We also like quite a bit of onions on our pizza, but you guys put whatever you like on your own pizzas. That's probably good.
And then we're going to top it with more mozzarella. Now remember, the entire crust is pretty much cheese and egg. So, still put on plenty because it still makes a nice topping just like on, a pizza that has a bread crust. But just keep in mind that you are getting a lot of cheese in this recipe, which is great.
One thing about this pizza, it is very rich because of all of the cheese.
Right, all the protein.
It's also very filling, you guys. When we eat this pizza, the maximum we are going to eat is 2 pieces. It will make 8 pieces, so it really is filling.
I hate to admit this, but when we used to eat the standard American diet, I could put down half or 3/4 of a large pizza by myself, which is probably why I was overweight. But with this pizza, 2 pieces is like super filling. So we're going to get this back in the oven. From here on out, we're just going to bake it until it looks done. Again, we're looking for kind of golden brown on top. It's probably going to be another 10 to 12 minutes before it's done. So let's get it back in the oven and we'll just keep an eye on it. Our timer has gone off. I already peeked at it and I know that it's done. But you guys, look how amazing that pizza looks.
It does look amazing, you guys. It has smelled so good as it was cooking in the oven.
So basically, what we're going to do at this point is we're just going to let it rest. Especially on this cast iron pan, it's going to take longer to cool down. In our experience, the longer you let it cool down, really the better it gets. If you don't eat it super, super hot, because again, it's mostly cheese.
Right.
And, as cheese cools, it hardens up. It becomes more like an actual crust. So we're going to let this cool down. And as soon as it's cooled down to a point where we can eat it, we're going to cut it and show you guys how it looks. Well, our pizza, I think, is cooled off enough to finally give it a try. Let's go ahead and cut it. Like I said earlier, the one thing that we like about this recipe versus the other recipes that we've tried, keto recipes, is that we really feel like this is the most like regular pizza in that you can actually pick it up. It's not really, floppy or, soft. Some of the other ones have to be eaten with a fork. This can be picked up, which is really, really nice.
Well, a lot of the other recipes, they taste like pizza, but they're almost a consistency of casserole.
Right.
So it's more like pizza bake, not necessarily pizza, and this is different.
Right. All right. We're both going to try a piece.
Okay, you guys, you can see that we can pick up this pizza. It's not a cracker crust.
Right.
So it's, we don't want to be fooling you or anything, it's a cheese and egg crust.
Right.
But you can still pick it up to eat it just like the pizza that you remember.
All right, moment of truth. You guys, it tastes just like regular pizza. Honestly, you would not know the difference if you didn't just watch us make it. It is really, really good.
The texture is fantastic. It really does satisfy your craving for pizza.
Right.
Especially when you're eating a keto lifestyle, because we have always eaten a lot of pizza. We love it. And so this is a really great opportunity for us to make it and still kind of comply with our keto lifestyle.
One thing I will say is when you first start doing keto and you are still craving carbs, a recipe like this isn't going to necessarily solve that craving. Your body at first is going almost through withdrawal, and you really do crave carbs and sugar, just like you would crave anything you're addicted to. And this isn't going to solve that because you're not having carbs. But the longer you're on keto, the more those cravings, really, we don't crave carbs at all anymore. So now it's more of a mental thing, like, hey, we want to have pizza. To us, this is what pizza is now.
Right.
The old kind of pizza that we used to have just doesn't exist in our world anymore. Now this is pizza.
And from a homesteading perspective, a lot of this we can grow and raise and produce on our homestead, especially now that we have a milk cow again in milk. We can start.
Honestly, 100% of this we can.
Yes. Well,
the eggs were already from us. The beef was already from us. We did use store-bought onions today, but we do grow onions every year.
The sauce
was from us.
The cheeses coming up in the future, we'll be making mozzarella. I do want to try to make Parmesan too.
Right.
So really, this pizza could really be 100% from our homestead.
Right. And that's super exciting to know that we really could make this entire thing homemade, with things that never left this farm.
You guys, so we're so happy, number one, that you're interested in learning more about the keto lifestyle, that you're wanting us to show you what we eat while we're eating keto. We're also really glad that you came and shared this time with us today. Hey, you guys, if you're enjoying videos like this, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below, but also remember that the best way you can help us here on the homestead is just to share our videos on your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.